So tonight, the family and I went out to watch the movie Ant-Man, and I hadn't been to the movie theater in several years. Well, at least 2 years, I guess. 2 years? I think before COVID or after COVID. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time. So anyway, I've had a rapid hearing loss. My hearing's been declining over the past 3 to 4 years. And so this is really my first movie to go to since my biggest hearing loss. So my son and I have close to the same hearing loss, and I thought, well, he never uses the captions, so I'll probably be the same. I'll be fine. So I went to the movie. It was really nice. They have these new reclining seats and everything, and he got the little captioning device. It's the cup holder that you screw in, and it holds the captioning screen, and you can adjust it up or down, and it has captions. So anyway, I was watching the movie, and we were sitting on the front row, and I was like, gosh, I'm not catching everything. So I was tapping him, and I was like, I'm not understanding what they're saying. I catch a word here, catch a word there. And it was really frustrating. Some characters I could hear really clearly. Other characters, their voice was way too deep. Like the men's voice, that's typically hard for me to hear. So I was trying to catch it, and I tapped him. And so then he turned the captioning reader to me, and I had a choice. We couldn't both watch it because of the big reclining seats. We could barely see it. So I was like, no, you don't have any hearing at all. So you read the captioning device. And he's like, why don't you go get your own? And I said, no. Plus, he kept having issues. His captioning device kept showing the captioning for the Avengers movie, which was right next door. It was like a historical thing. Yeah, it was the Avengers. And so he had to turn it off, turn it back on, get it to reconnect to our movie. It was irritating. But anyway, I was like, gosh. So my son Zaid was sitting closer to the middle, and I said, can you hear what they're saying? Can you understand it? And he's like, yeah, I'm catching it here and there. It's okay. I was like, really? You're just barely catching it and you're okay with that? And he's like, yeah, I'm used to it. I was like, oh my God, no way. So I went out, got the captioning reader, and I hated it. Put it in the cup holder. Well, the movie's over here off to my right, and I'm having to look up at the screen. We were sitting way too close to the screen. Plus, where my cup holder was, I couldn't really move the device over to the right, or else it would be in the next person's seat. So I'm having to look over to my left at the captioning and look over to the right at the movie. So I had to make a choice. Am I going to watch the movie or read the captions? Well, we got there late. It's more like a reserved seating. So, yeah, we should probably get something in the middle. But anyway, I had to keep looking off to the left and right. And when someone would speak, the caption would come right up. But as soon as they were done talking, the caption was gone. So it wouldn't stay on the screen, so you could comfortably finish reading and then look at the movie, look at the captions. So it was frustrating. I hated it. Yeah, well, I was sitting so close, and I'm having to look up at the movie and then look down at the captioning. It's frustrating. She hasn't been to the movies in a long time, but typically I'll get tickets and we sit. Well, she said she got tickets and she sat us in the front row. Well, that's all they had available. Yeah, because all the seating was full. But typically when I go with the kids, we'll sit a little higher up in the middle. And so it works out great because you can look at the captions and look at the screen, no problem. But where we were seated today, it was really difficult because I was having to look way up at the screen because we were so close, and then look down at the captioning. And I was on the far end. So the captioning device is over here, and I'm looking at the screen over there. It sucked. And so, I was born hearing. So as a hearing person, I never worried about it. I'd go to the movies and enjoy the movie. I had a slight hearing loss, but it wasn't that bad. Now, with my big loss, a totally different experience. You're probably used to it. And, my son, he said he's used to it. It was fine. That's how it's been all his life. He enjoys the movies. He's like, oh, as long as it's an action movie, I can pick it up. And I asked my daughter, Elena, she has less hearing than my son and I. She's not completely deaf, but she does have less hearing than us. And I was like, can you hear it? And she goes, I can hear the noise. I said, you understand the words? She said, no. And I said, well, with no captioning, what do you do? And she's like, oh, I just look at it and I catch. I don't understand all of it, but that's fine. I catch it. And I was like, what? I mean, they were all used to it, but going from a hearing person having full access, hearing the movie, enjoying the movie, to having a hearing loss and going to the movie and seeing the difference, I'm like, this sucks. This sucks. And I mean, I know all of you guys were used to it, but for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to stay positive for everybody, but I don't think I'll be going to the movies again unless it's open captioned. I just don't think I'll go. Well, in our town, in Georgetown, I did ask if they were going to ever schedule open captioning, and they said no. I mean, this is the closest movie theater to us, but they said no. If we want to go to an open caption movie theater, we have to go into Austin. Yeah, so we would have to drive an hour just to go watch a movie. It's an hour drive just to enjoy a movie. I mean, that's the life of a deaf person. Hearing people have it so easy. You can just like go anywhere, anytime. But for open caption, you have to go on their scheduled date when they have it available and then make the drive. You've got to go to the particular theater that's willing to caption. That's just such a hearing privilege. It was eye-opening. It's not fair. Well, we live with it. Anyway, big adjustment for me. I'm kind of wondering what you guys do for going to the movies. Well, it's because of her hearing loss, poor thing. Well, I mean, if I had been used to it, I was hard of hearing all my life, then no big deal. But this is all new for me. Wow, it was shocking. I'm just kind of wondering how you've been going to all the movies all these years. You take the kids all the time, probably twice a month, it seems. Y'all go to movies all the time. The kids enjoy it. I mean, as long as they're happy. But for me, because I experienced having complete access to this, it was shocking. And growing up, my dad would rarely take us to the movies, but my mom never did. She'd say, I can't understand the movie. There's no captioning. And so now I totally understand. What do you guys do? What's your experience with going to the movie theaters? Do you go often? Do they have captioning? Do you use the captioning goggles or